I have to speak for the last few months. Really, you were. I think we were beginning to see the glimpses of the Sindhu that we are so familiar with. There were a couple of amazing tournaments, and you'd broken back into the top 10. What's the switch then, Sindhu? What was that phase? I think. Would you say that this you were getting back to a bit of where you see yourself again? Could you describe the last few months or weeks just before, of course, the injury?
Yeah, absolutely. I was getting there. I mean, I was there actually. I was getting it. I was very happy. But I think a lot have changed because when I was injured, when I was coming back, I'm sure it takes time for everybody to come back to the rhythm. And it's not easy, especially after the injury. And I know there were a few months, those first few months were a little hard where I was not able to get there. But I think once I started to get there, started to know where I am, what am I doing, what needs to be done. I think, I mean, it's sad part that I was almost there, but then it happened again. But I think, I mean, it's okay because initially, when I was back then, when I was injured in 2022, I think it was more of a mental game because physically you do what you have to do, and skill wise, you learn what you have to learn. But I think mental aspect is where you need to always know what's going on within you. And I think that was absolutely there. Everything was perfect. Everything was going on well. But yeah, unfortunately, it happened. So yeah.
No, but of course we know that you're the kind of fighter that you are with that muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's not too far away. But speaking about you coming back with Prakash Padukone, how's that been like? Because you've had a series of coaches in the past. Just how crucial in terms of a performance or in terms of translating to performance is a athlete, at least an individual athlete and a coach relationship? How crucial is that, Sindhu, for a career graph of an athlete? And tell us about, again, your partnership with Prakash Padukone and how that's going to go forward.
Yeah, I mean, with Prakash sir, of course, he himself is a legend. And I think what else to tell about him? I'm so grateful and thankful to him for being my mentor. And I think Sir is much more experienced and he know what it is. And he's been through it. I mean, he knows everything. So I think there are few things where, you learn from the legends, right? And it's always good to know because they've experienced it. So I think Prakash sir has uh, there was no there was not much to do or say, but it was more like to understand from where he's coming and whatever his perspective is. I think I've been with him on court. He told me that okay, this is what you're doing, maybe you need to change a bit here and there. So I think that itself helped me a lot, and the way he speaks, the way he explains, I think you understand that okay, what was I doing and what needs to be done. So there were just small tweaks here and there, and I think it has helped me really really a lot, and I'm very thankful to him that he has shared his journey with me, like how it was and how it is now, because I know there is a lot of generation gap, but I think the game doesn't go anywhere from the legend.
Fair enough, fair enough. But in an individual sport, when you were talking about that support system, does the coach
Yeah.
also come in as part of that? And how critical is that relationship when it comes to translating on a very positive career graph?
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, yes, I had a set of coaches, and I think I've learned a lot of things from each one of them. And I think a coach and an athlete relationship, I think it needs to be in such a way that you need to understand, what an athlete is going through, on court and off court. At the same time, you need to have that relationship where you need to gel well and understand what he's telling you and what you need to do on court. At the same time, I think as a coach, I mean, it's very very important because when you're playing a match, you depend on him at times, when nothing is working out. And I think as a coach, he trusts his player that okay, we've practiced enough, and whatever I say is, she will do that. So I think this is where the strategy works out, because sometimes when we are playing on court, it might not look, we might just be playing and we might not know what mistakes are we doing when we're on court. But I think as a coach sitting outside, he might know a lot more what mistakes are we doing and what what needs to be done, or if anything is there to change from the opponent's point of view. So I think these are the few things, and I think coach is definitely very important. His role is definitely important because when you discuss about strategies, how to play with players, what needs to be done, if plan A doesn't work, you need to use plan B. And I think this is just those few seconds, because in between the points you don't have much time to discuss as well. So that is why, you need some time to, get together, understand each other, and, know what coach is trying to tell you and accordingly work out. And I think Prakash sir, he's explained me, and so far it's been really good. And once again, I think he being my mentor, I think it's definitely a positive thing. And I think, that's why, you might have seen a lot of change.
Yes, speaking about that, Sindhu, can you point to one sort of technical or an aspect that you sort of tweaked, or something that you worked on that has really sort of resulted in the way that you've performed over the last few weeks? Is there something that you've particularly worked on that has shown some sort of a productivity or result that you've noticed?
Well, actually, that's a secret. But anyways, but I think Prakash sir himself, on a smaller note, I would say, when I was playing few matches, we've discussed together, we sat down, and with each player, it was comparatively a bit different because each player has a different strategy and different game style. So it was not like one, two, but I would say a couple of things where, movement wise, or, the stroke wise, okay, you're playing this, what needs to change at that particular point. So we were watching matches, analyzing few matches, and that's when we made some tweaks.